guess there will be no time period where we try to strive for our own individuality. What's so funny, if you look back in time, the 60s had the same issue with them bright pastel, flowery, tie-dye colors, right? And they had an assortment of weird dances too, because 60s were breaking the sexual barrier that teens fell under the adults that raised them. You look at the 70s, there was a big experimentation with drugs, alcohol, live free, party hard, music. The music industry bigged up and changed a lot. You look at the 80s, there was a graphic change in the style, graphic change in the music, and a graphic change in the movies that we watch. And you notice every year we're leveling up. And back in the 80s, you had the Michael Jackson jacket, the left glove, torn jeans in the knees, stonewashed jeans, jerry curls, chains, whips, all this other crazy shit. And then you move up to the 90s. You start to expose the transgender, transsexual area. The music is leveling up more. The movies are getting more graphic. And of course, the hairstyles are being totally outrageous. People got Skittles in their head, M&M's, whatchamacallit bars, 50 million pastel colors. So instead of the colors that they wore in tie-dye shirts, they have now moved those shirts up to their head. And as you get into the 2000 era, we've totally lost our minds. People are ripping penises off, making vaginas, and taking vaginas and making penises. Guys want breasts, women don't want breasts. And I'm just scared, like, what is going to happen another 15 years from now? You know, if we clarify that it's okay, man to man, woman to woman, and all this type of violence, cops beating up on women, beating up on men, shooting black girls, black boys, black people in general, we're saying it's okay. We're casting our vote by watching the television. We're casting our vote by voting just nationally and not statewide. Your state vote counts a lot. And those are the people that you put up in Capitol Hill to actually fight for your right. The people from your individual state and city. And people don't even pay attention to these elections. We pay more attention to the national elections, like running for president. Like, it is too late to infer a CEO of a company or corporation when the daggone company and corporation is already going belly up. That don't matter. It doesn't matter who you bring in. If their order of operations suck, the boss is still going to suck, because a boss can't do nothing without his workers. And that's the Democrat, the Republicans, Congress in general. We put these idiots in office. But anyway, I'm not going to jump on that. But the thing that I'm trying to say is, it's kind of a strange fear that kids can't go outside and enjoy themselves. They can't just freely do what they want to do, even when you're in a good neighborhood. Because contrary to what people believe, you have more issues with grown-ass people touching children, where people make a lot of finances, than you do with people who live in the low-income societies. It's just that when it does happen in low-income societies, they report it more to say, oh, we done covered up our dirt with their dirt. So either way, it still needs to be cleaned up. But I'm looking at our school systems and I'm thinking to myself, what exactly should we be teaching our kids in school? Math, yes. English, yes. Science, yes. Shouldn't they be learning group economics? Like how people can come together, fashion their cash, make a corporation, and actually start a business? Shouldn't they be learning how to invest, balance checks, read the stock market? Why are we still giving millions and millions of kids the same old BS that has fueled our unemployment rate? We thinking that, okay, what is going to make unemployment better is putting more money into the economy. Or how about retraining a bunch of deadbeat ass adults that don't want nothing in the first place? I'm so tired of seeing hairstylists, nail polish, registered nurses, people, lawyers are pointless. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. I've read enough of it, looked into it, and seen the actions over my past 40 years on the planet. I've now discovered that lawyers are freaking pointless. They're freaking pointless. They know the truth about what goes on, and that's their deal, that's their business. But to me, lawyers are pointless. Police officers are pointless. I think if everybody's allowed to govern themselves, and this might be a bad example, but I'm gonna go ahead and set it real quick. If a man is robbed at gunpoint and has a firearm, he's gonna kill those two assailants just as effectively as those police hunting those guys down and killing them. If a man is in his home and people break in, or a woman is in a home, or a family's in a home, they break in and get shot up, justice has been served. Okay, let's say we have a minor infraction between two civilians, like a man and a woman arguing, or a woman and a man arguing, or a woman, or man and a man. My thought process is this. If the argument is so deep that you can't walk away from it, that you must take each other's life, something is wrong with you and something is wrong with the person you're arguing with. That this argument is so damn serious that some blood must be shed or a life must be taken. Something is really wrong with the transmitter and the receiver. Here's my point. If a man says, oh, that teen looks like he's a problem, and he shoots this teen child and ends up finding out that the teen wasn't doing anything, it was just the inconspicuous nature of how this man thought, and he decided to shoot a child. Now, if that father comes back and shoots you, they'll say justice has been served. Okay, but he doesn't get his child back. That's why people don't believe in the electric chair. But if he comes back and shoots your child, and eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, thumb for a thumb, finger for a finger, trigger for a trigger, then people will say he was wrong to do that. But nobody thinks about the pain that the mother and father went through to raise a child for 17, 16 years and to lose it to some fool. I think if you take the life of somebody's child, and I have children, if you take the life of somebody's child, if that person decides inadvertently to take the life of your children, it is what it is. This is why you have to be careful about what you talk about, who you argue with, and what you decide to enforce your opinion on. I know I'm hopping all the way around, but when you think about it, when you really think the gist of it, which one causes more pain? I've taken the life of a child. You come and blow my brains out, I'm not going to remember any of what I did wrong. But if I take the life of a child and you come take my children, I'm going to be upset. Of course, I'm going to retaliate again. But it's going to continue to go back and forth. Now we got to think about this. What started the initial strand of violence? That initial string of violence? Who was immature enough to say, you know what, I don't like this guy, he's getting on my nerves, I'm going to blow him away. This is why cops will put in policy protectors to protect property, because people did not know how to control themselves. All I'm saying is this. We really need to watch our level of anger. We need to be more tolerant of what goes on around us, because there's a lot of mistreated, untreated mental health people out here. There's some people that got some issues that they don't even understand that are issues. There are people out there that are cracked and broken and don't think that they need to be fixed. You have to watch out for these people. The good thing about Facebook, it gives everybody a plateau to speak their piece and say what they want to say, but I think it's really it's kind of a real climatic issue that we're having with people and guns. Not with guns. Everybody's like, oh, get rid of the guns. Well, then, you know what? Well, before we had guns, what were people stabbing each other with? Swords and knives. Well, get rid of swords and knives. Well, you take that apart, and people are going to start choking people out and fracturing and cracking necks. Or they're going to pick up a piece of wood and beat somebody's head in. It is not the weapon that causes the mass murder and death. It is the person behind the weapon. So if you're not willing to police up the person, don't police up the weapon. It's silly. I think I'm just going to buy me a bow and arrow, start shooting people with a compound bow. At least I gave you time to defend yourself.